protect the various security measures and all those things. Now we'll be seeing basically like how to protect the network device, how to harden, and what are the different procedures you have to follow while you are dealing with any network device. Okay, so we'll see like one by one how the network devices hardening can be done. Okay. Yeah. So basically, suppose I'm telling about is such a way like in a practical point of view. Suppose if you want, if you go to any organization, right? So to audit or to audit any network system, to audit their web servers or to audit their web application, to audit any mobile applications, etc., etc. So what is the main things or what are the critical points you have to see? Can anyone can tell from the chat options like what are the various? Suppose there is an organization, okay? There is an organization which we have visited, and you want to audit the complete the infrastructure of the device, right? So basically, the first criteria you should keep in your mind is like their different assets, okay? The different assets you have to see what exactly the assets they are following, okay? The complete IT asset list, okay? And also like what exactly their role of the devices, each and every role of the devices and their network devices, and what exactly their web applications or their web servers play a major role. So information security program is always is used to ensure your system is connected in a secure manner, right? That means like your ultimate aim is to protect the organization's ability, okay, to protect the organization's information, okay. So how your organization's information can be secure unless if suppose your intermediate device are secure, if your intermediate device are hardened, so there should be some kind of devices, there should be some kind of mechanism, there should be some kind of settings you have to prepare so that your operations are always safe and your applications are also safe, and ultimately you are protecting your data and you are safeguarding your technology assets, okay. So for this, like how many member have the basic idea of these tools? Anyone from the chat? Like you have a different tools here which I am listed here. So any idea about these tools from the chat? Any idea about these concerned tools? Any idea about these tools? Nessus Professional, Nexpose, and your OpenVAS, right? There are different things are there, right? So there is one Bellark Advisor, Microsoft Baseline Security Advisor. These are the different tools, or we can say like vulnerability scanning tools. Like suppose there is a organization, okay, there is an organization and you went with for audit a different architecture and different network devices, okay. So the key point is like your what exactly you are doing, okay. What exactly I mean, like what is the criteria you're doing, okay. What is the standard operating procedures you have to do? So such kind of things we'll be seeing, okay. So Nessus Professional, Nexpose, OpenVAS, Bellark, Microsoft Base Security Analysis, Nessus Professional. Yeah. So audio is feeble, sir. Yeah. So I think audio is okay for my side, right? Okay. So yeah, Nexpose is there, OpenVAS is there. OpenVAS is free. Nexpose is also trial version. You can download and you can use it. And sometime you can have this Nessus Professional also to be installed. Okay. So these are the different devices and different tools like as an auditor, as a security analyst, you have to use in your day-to-day life. Okay. So basically, what is the scanning? Basically, what is a Nessus actually? Okay, Nessus is nothing but your vulnerability scanner. Suppose if you have a tool installed in your laptop or in your desktop, so the key idea behind this scanning tool is like it gives a vulnerabilities in the system. It gives a vulnerability with respect to server. It gives a vulnerability with respect to your network devices. Okay. So and also it gives the missing security patches and what are the missing security updates. What are the these things which are missing in your network? Maybe network device it has iOS, it has some kind of what we say like security settings enabled, the secure settings enabled, okay. But what is the guarantee like your tool will give a 100% result, right? Sometimes it also gives a false positive result, okay, false positive result. So your SOP, that means your standard operating procedures comes into the picture, right? So for that purpose, so each and every tool you should have something like some kind of standard operating procedure has to be created, right? So for that purpose, what basically you do, So for suppose there is a different thing for the different procedures, right? Suppose if you are using a Windows operating system, right? So you should have a what exactly your policy says, it should match with your policy also. Suppose in your policy or your standard says you should use a antivirus software, okay? But when you go and see like your system is not properly audited, not properly there, so it is against your policy, right? That means you are not following your the procedures up to the mark. Okay, so it's like something like you have to prepare a document kind of thing by saying a standards, right? So suppose in my case, if I am seeing, so I'll be showing one document to you. So where exactly I'll come, otherwise I'll come one by one. Okay. Yeah. So this is one of the vulnerability scanning tool which has all the scans for network, websites, operating systems, mobile devices, and etc. etc. Okay. It has some around 149792 plugin. That means like every time when you install and when you try to do this scanning, right? So it basically gives very plugins related information and all those things. Okay. So this is one of the interface of your Nessus professional tool where you can have this what I suppose if you are scanning any IP address, okay, IP address is one of the criteria. So first of all, you should know the IP address for to which your end user is connecting and for which you are connecting and for which exactly the server is connected and all those. Okay. So the first thing while you are doing any hardened or auditing, the key point is like you have to collect all your assets or asset list you have with along your username, with along your password. I mean like your role of the these things and etc. etc. Okay. So these are some of the things which you have to follow while you are doing a audit and etc. etc. Okay. So these are the different criteria. Like there is an internal PCI network scan is there. Suppose if you want to have a mobile device scanning, so you can use a mobile device scanning. Suppose if you want to scan some kind of malware from the PC, you can select a malware scan option. Okay. Suppose you want to have the WannaCry ransomware, so you can do the WannaCry ransom scan. Okay. So these are the different interfaces where you can see what exactly it has been done. Okay, so these are the different things which you have to see in your day-to-day life and what exactly it has been configured, etc. So these are the some of the things and some of the license tools and some of the free tools, trial tools, trial versions. OpenVAS is also same. You can just download from the internet. It's a free version which is under the GNU General Public License and also maintained by your Greenbone networks. Okay. Bellark Advisor is also same thing. So I think you have the idea about the Bellark Advisor. Any idea about the Bellark Advisor? Any of you have the basic idea about the Bellark Advisor? I think you have seen this tool, right? So basically, it is used for your installed. What are the inventory list of your PC? It's your missing security patches or hotfixes and various antivirus status, security benchmarks, etc. etc. Okay. So these are the some of the tools which you have to see what exactly it has been done. Okay. So the security benchmark, it gives the security benchmarks, it gives the missing security hot fixes, and also like it is a free source and open source. You can download it from the below reference site and you can use it. Okay. And coming to the CS Syscat tool is also one of the tool which is used for configuration assessment tool. Okay. So this is nothing but like that. It is a script kind of thing. So where you have to just copy this setup. There are two types of these things are there. One is commercial, another one is light version, that which is a free version. Okay. So basically in the free version, so if it is a free, actually you have to copy the setup into the into the destination PCs, right? Destination PCs. Suppose you have a server. Okay. So if it is a server, you have to copy the same setup into a server, and it gives the report in the HTML format or in the CSV format or text format. Okay. So it gives you a hardening what exactly your system is up to the harden and what is the standards you are following, whether the standard is followed or not, whether it is up to the mark or not. So such kind of things you have to keep in your mind. Okay. So these are some of the guidelines actually which you have to follow while you are auditing, or while you are doing a hardening kind of thing, or while you are suppose if you are carrying some kind of SOPs. Okay. So generally, it's CI is nothing but a Center for Internet Security, which is an international standard followed by the all your standards and your hardened your with respect to each and every device. Okay, it might be your network device, it might be your OS, it might be your server, it might be your firewall, it might be a security device, it might be your application, it might be your database, it might be your browsers, etc., etc. Okay. And NIST says is also one of the standard followed by your NIST PCI DSS. Okay. So National Institute of Standard Technology, this is also the one of the standards which you have followed for auditing. And PCI DSS is basically purely for your payment industries. Okay. And you for different these things is used. Okay. And these are the different standards why you have to keep in your mind while you are auditing any organization's network, etc. Okay. So basically, CIS is a non-profit organization, and it's a mission oriented development, validate and promote a system best practices. Okay, so it's just like it's a standard actually. Okay, it's a standard. It has some kind of security controls also. CS security controls. Every control has its own major role. Okay. And followed by this is one of the standardistic security technical implementation guide, so which is basically used more on your networks, servers, computers, etc. Okay, so the aim of all the standards is to harden or enhance the security. So already there is a security which is I mean, like there is a one device already which is configured in your network, so you want to have additional security to be prevented, right, to be given. So what exactly you have to do at that time? So you have to take some kind of standards, you have to prepare some kind of standard operating procedures for scanning and all those things. Okay. So these are some of the things, some of the standards and all those things. NIST is also the same things, like it stands for National Institute of Standards and Technology. It offers guidelines on the technology, cyber security frameworks, etc. So basically, like ultimate aim is like you have to discover and you have to identify. Identify is nothing but your assets. Ultimate, your first key step is to you have to identify the assets. Okay. Then what exactly you have to do? You have to protect. Okay, protect from the unauthorized users. Suppose if someone is coming from the outside network to your inside network. Okay. So what is the method you are following? You are protecting. Okay, some kind of mechanism or some kind of standards you are following, or some kind of SOPs you are following. Okay. Suppose if any unauthorized assets or any unauthorized device or any unauthorized IP is present in your network, so is there any detection mechanism is done? Is there any detection mechanism is there? So there is that process or that step is nothing but your detection mode. Then comes to your respond. Respond is nothing but suppose suppose there is an IP or there is some asset has been detected. So how your internal system will respond, whether it will that concerned system will be responded in your SIM, or whether it will be simply it will be hidden into the network. So that means there is some kind of intermediate device or some kind of network device should be there. Okay. So such kind of things are there. So then again, recover is nothing but like what are the actions the higher authorities or your higher officials are taking. Suppose any intrusion or some kind of unauthorized assets are added into a network. Okay. So PCI DSS is also like it's purely your payment card industry standards. So generally it is used for ensure, process, store, transmit your credit card, debit card information. Basically it is an your purely your payment related information, your financial related information will be stored. Okay. So requirements, what are the requirements are there? Like you have to use any, you have to maintain a updated firewalls. You have to use a proper password protection mechanism. You have to use a protect cardholder data, etc., etc. Okay. So always you are your transmission or your data communication should be encrypted. So can anyone can tell from the chat like what is the basic difference between the telnet and SSH? What is the basic difference between the telnet and SSH? I think hope you understood the protocol also. Can anyone can tell from the chat like what is the difference between the your telnet and SSH? SSH is more secure. Okay, so how it is secure, sir? SSH is more secure. Can जय जी कुछ बोल सकते हो कि SSH किस तरह से secure? I mean like माना जाता है. You are correct. Like SSH is more secure, but so it should have some mechanism, right, through which it is secure. So SSH is secure basically like it uses a encryption, right? It uses some kind of encryption technologies. Whereas your telnet uses encryption or not? Telnet sends message in plain text. Okay, correct. Yeah, no, correct. So basically telnet works on which port, sir? Telnet works on port, yeah, while SSH send in encrypted manner, correct. So basically, these are the some of the things. Yeah, Rahul, correct. 23, it uses a Chetan is correct. So telnet uses a port 23. So ultimately, like telnet is somewhat like your communication. There might be a chances of your encryption or I mean like your data flow is going in the plain text. Okay. Suppose if it is SSH, that to your what we say like version 2. So there it is in what we say like it is an encryption mode. Okay. So if you are using a plain SSH version 1, so we cannot also guarantee like your data is flowing in a encrypted manner. Okay. So port 23 can also be used, but there is some yeah. So SSH uses a TCP port, correct? TCP port 22 SSH uses. So telnet uses a port 23. So we'll see like how suppose if you are using a telnet also, because some of the switches it is not mandatory like it should be uses it uses some kind of the port number, right? Telnet uses some port 23, and suppose if it is an old switch, you cannot migrate to, you cannot shift to the port 22, right? That means like SSH cannot be enabled. So at that time, so there should be some mechanism. So we'll see in the remaining slides. Okay. So these are the some of the things like what is hardening. So the process of securely configuring the systems, correcting the misconfiguration. So disabling unnecessary and vulnerable services, make system more reliable, and also you have to protect the system from different exploits and attacks. Okay. So these are the some of the steps are there. So where you can, so these are the some of the practically steps which you have to follow in, suppose if you are in your case of Windows operating system. Okay. Suppose your password history says like it will be 24, right? So most of the members are using some around only 8 characters. Okay. So always it's the best practice is you should use more than 14 characters of the password. Okay. And the minimum password age is set to the 1 and maximum password age is 60. That means for every 2 months or 60 days, you have to change your password. Okay. So the maximum password age you have to keep is 60 days as per the CIS standards. And as per the CIS standards, the minimum password length. See, as I told, like most of the members, how many characters password you use? So can anyone can tell what is the minimum character of password you use in your day-to-day life for your PCs or your network devices or for your some kind of financial information or some kind of banking thing? How many characters you use basically? How many whether you use 6 characters or 8 characters or whether you use 14 characters? Okay. So all use 8 to 10, 8 characters, but yeah, 6 to 8, minimum 8 characters, but being in has a standards, okay, has a security standards, has a CS benchmark standards. always it is recommendable to use a 14 characters, 14 or more characters, not less than 14 characters. Okay. Why you have to use more character password? Can anyone can tell from the chat? Why you have to use the more 14 characters? Because always because anyway I am using some 10 characters or 8 character password. Because the 10 characters or 8 characters password can be chances, there are more chances like it can be cracked easily or some within some days or some time. Okay. But unless and until, yeah, lengthy passwords, it is a more possibility, lesser possibility to be given. Correct, Prashant. Sanjay, you are also correct. So that means like suppose if you are using a more character password, so there are some less chances like the passwords or some kind of accounts may be less probable for attacks. Okay. So suppose you are using some 14 character password, and suppose I am the attacker or hacker who is continuously watching your account for 59 days. On 60th day, you change the password. So again, what I will do is again I try go on try the passwords. I'm using some password guessing tools. जैसे कि मैं गेस करते रहता हूँ कि आपका पासवर्ड क्या होगा. ओके, जैसे मैं फर्स्ट डे गेस करता हूँ, सेकेंड डे भी मैं ट्राई करता हूँ, थर्ड डे आल्सो आई विल ट्राई इट, फोर्थ डे आल्सो आई विल ट्राई इट. देन आई विल अगेन 59 डे पे जब आता है तो मेरा 11 कैरेक्टर या 10 कैरेक्टर्स का जो पासवर्ड है वहां तक आके रुक जाता है. राइट. देन अगेन ऑन 68 डे आई चेंज माई पासवर्ड. जैसे कि 14 मैंने पहले रखा था, देन अगेन मैं 15 कैरेक्टर पासवर्ड रखा है. तो इसको इसमें क्या होता है कि जैसा कि वो बंदे को ना, जो भी हैकर एंड अटैकर्स आर देयर, he again go and try with the same process. Okay, same process or same method. So it may take again for him to break the password more time. So these are some of the things for with respect to the Windows policy, account lockout policy. Yeah. So account lockout duration is 15 or more minutes has to be enabled, and you are always, the threshold limit is 10 or fewer individual login details. That means like suppose have you ever observed like have you heard about the denial of service attacks or distributed denial of service attack, DOS attacks or DDoS attacks के बारे में सुना है क्या आपने? Why this basically the DOS attacks are possible on your website or on your web application or in your what we say like on your web servers. Basically, see the connections, the number of connections are not limited. Okay, suppose there is a website or there is a web application. Even we see like it says कि यार ये system बहुत slow है. Okay, so why means there are a lot of users are connected. For some days or one day you will, one day or 1 hour or half an hour, you are not able to access the website. Maybe the chances of the denial of service or some kind of scanning is also possible. Okay. For that purpose, so you have to see what exactly your configuration is done. Suppose what exactly you are configured with settings and all those things. Okay. I may just show you some of the things where basically yeah, so we'll see some of the hardened steps. Yeah, so this is the some of the practical checklist where exactly this is the one of the case where you are able to see my this SOP which I prepared for my network diagram, network sorry, firewall devices. Okay, the same thing can be applicable to your switches, your routers, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, so these are the some of the things. Yeah, network diagrams. So basically, you have to see network diagram. Logical diagram क्या है? Physical diagram is what basically, in what is the objective of the firewall installation, and what exactly your OS is there, and you have to gather all the information key. What is the role of the firewall? How it is connected, and what is the relevant ISPs and VPNs, and what is the firewall vendor information, and it's all backup whether the current backup or advisories have been taken care or not. Is there any process to authorize employees and non-employees access? Like, whether suppose there is a firewall, so how the users are connected, how the password policies are connected, whether any timelines are there, any timeline policies are there, whether how many users are connected, how the passwords are connected. Is there any monitoring technique is used? Suppose if any monitoring technique is used, so what is any security device has been kept into the place or not? Whether the intrusion detection system or intrusion prevention system is kept in front of your firewall. So these are the things which we have to see while you are doing any activity. Okay, are the firewall activities logged? Are there any procedures in place to monitor and act upon any appropriate activities? Okay. So these are the things like as I told, role based. Also, you have to see what are the process and whether any change management process is there. Suppose any you got a request from the higher authority saying like you are requested to open some kind of port, or you are requested to open some kind of services in the web application. Okay, so always there should be some kind of change management process where you have to see what exactly they are following. Okay. And coming to the physical and OS security, what do you mean by physical security here? So is this a what is the physical security here? So physical security is nothing but like as you see, the firewall is also should be built with your some kind of physical security. That means there should be some rack should be there where all your things should be locked in a proper manner. Okay, and also you have to see what exactly the OS security is there and what kind of mechanism they are following, etc. So yeah, this we can just. So I'll be showing one more thing to you. So it's an network devices audit checklist. Yeah. So I hope you are able to see my screen, right? Okay. So this is the some of the devices is a generic checklist which we have prepared for network devices audit checklist. Okay. So you are suppose you have prepared. That means like there is already a device, network device has been configured on HTTP port, right? HTTP port, but whether any HTTPS kind of thing is enabled in your things, so you have to always you have to check HTTP should be enabled. Okay, configure the device to disable for using HTTP port for administrative access. Okay, so this is your check test, and you have to configure always a fixed text with respect to the HTTP port should be enabled. Okay. So second SOP says the device must not be listening for telnet services. Okay. So that means you have to check for disabling any telnet services. Okay. If the telnet service is there, so you should disable the telnet services. The management connection to network device must start using secure protocols. Okay. So as I discussed, like you should always use some kind of encrypted protocol, like SSH version 2 or HTTPS, and some kind of secure protocols where your communication is guaranteed, like it should be it should be traveled or it should be transferred in your encrypted manner. Okay. So network devices must authenticate all NTP messages received from NTP servers and peers. So this is the basically like you have to see whether the all the devices are getting a proper NTP time or not. Okay, that means like suppose why this is needed is like suppose there is some intrusion or some kind of this thing happened. So you should be in the condition key or should always see key at what time or what time it has been happened. It's not like that. Like now the time is some around 4:50, and in your network device it is some around 5:59. Okay, so always the time should be synchronized with the centralized authentication, so that if any intrusion happens, you should be in a state to identify the proper time and date. Okay. So next is SNMP version 2 is not needed. Yeah. So there is always, like, suppose there is a firewall. So there is always a practice, like, we most of the users nowadays, like, it is a pandemic and most of the members are working from home. So always there is a probability, like, you are connected through the firewall. So always your VPN should be properly configured, and you should see it is end to end as a configured. Okay, and who are the users who are configured, and it is a crypto access list configured at the remote VPN. Okay, so these are the some of the things which respect to your standard operating procedures for the firewalls and switches. And always, like, it has been observed, like, your time period, the network device must time out the management connections for administrative access after 10 minutes or less than inactivity. Okay, so always, like, you have to see, like, after the 2 minutes or 3 minutes, as your device should be automatically unattended connection should be automatically disconnected. Okay, it's not like that. Like, if you are connected for the first time, it should not be like it is parallelly, it is continuously, it is activated. Okay, after some time, it is a best practice to disconnect the system. Okay, so for that, as a SOP, what exactly you have to create is the management connections, maybe in the form of your SSH, or maybe in the form of telnet, or maybe in the form of HTTPS. So always it is recommendable to use the what we say, like, management connections. Okay. So yeah, this is a thing which yeah. So this is the some of the techniques which we have prepared for the standard operating procedure for the switches. Okay. So enable a new model. So these are encryption techniques used for accessing and for the devices. Okay. So these are the basic technical commands which you have to see. Questions from your side, I may, so that I can take the questions and answers from you.